Hello, good people. Welcome back to the Kuhb Games YouTube channel. The good people in Atlanta GOAT format put on a GOAT format and Edison format tournament tonight, which is Friday, the day before this video goes up. I actually just got done playing the tournament. Yeah, they put on this sweet GOAT format tournament, and I had some time tonight, so decided to enter. We are playing for money in this, so that's pretty sweet. Yeah, I wanted to go over the deck that I played really quick before we get into the finals match, which is what I'm going to be showing in this video. There will be a link to the Discord down in the description. They are asking for only people in the US to join currently until they get things built up, and then, you know, maybe they'll branch out, who knows. But yeah, go check that out. If you want to play some GOAT tournaments for money or some Edison tournaments for money, hell yeah. Yeah, that'll be in the description. So pretty standard-ish Warriors build, I guess. We're on 2 Blade Knight, 3 Kaiku. If you've been watching, you know I love that split. Feels great right now. I'm also playing the second Sasuke right now. I think that's felt really good to me. And then for the flex slots, I'm not playing any of the Smashing Grounds, Book of Moons, Mind Controls, any of that in the main. I'm just playing 2 Jar of Greeds. Generally, we play Jar of Greed with a 13 monster count, because Jar of Greed helps you draw into your monsters, really keeps Trap, Dust, Shoot, Dead, stuff like that. But I've been liking the second Sasuke so much that didn't really want to cut it for like a Smashing Ground or something like that, which is, I would probably play a Smashing Ground over it if I was going to play another Spell Trap or whatever. Maybe a third Sakuretsu armor or something like that, but I've really been enjoying this build of the Warrior deck, and yeah, so I just decided to register for a tournament. Logic makes sense. So the side, we're just playing 1 Mobius, 2 copies of King Tiger. You know I love this card. I like to play it at 3, but not a lot of control really going around. Of course, we're playing against Ectoplasma control here, so would have loved a third, but I mean, just 2 is probably fine here. 1 Moth, 1 Kinetic Soldier, 1 Zambara. Decided on the split. I really like Kinetic Soldier, but Zambara is actually searchable off of Rhoda, so you're essentially playing 3 copies. You can kind of get to it whenever you want. 1 Cliff the Trap Remover, big fan. Spell Suite is just Book of Moon, Smashing Ground, and a copy of My Body as a Shield. And then for the traps, we've got the other 2 the other 2 Dust Tornadoes. God, I wish I could play 5 Dust Shoots in this deck. Bottomless, Sakuretsu, and a Compulse. So let's get into the finals match. All right, we are here with the finals match against none other than Aaron. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I've never actually heard it said in person. But one of the Atlanta Go format people hosted the tournament, so really cool to play against him in the finals here. So let's get into it. We were giving him shit about the Fusion deck. They do stream these events. It was streamed. He was borrowing Fusion cards from his opponents, playing Metamorphosis with no Fusion deck, which, you know, it's a thing. But yeah, here we are in the finals. I've got a great opening hand on the play. Pretty easy, just Delinquent Duo here. I already know that I'm up against the Ectoplasma control deck, and now that I've got a Solemn Judgment, I do kind of just want to find traps. Find ways really to deal with Scapegoat, Metamorphosis, stuff like that, and try to pull ahead really quickly because, you know, we are going to be able to duo turn 1 here. Kaiku's actually pretty decent against this deck. We have a Snatch Steal for anything big, potentially, like a Dark Necrofear or something like that. I know he is playing the Dark Necrofear version. So I think it's fine to throw off the Graceful Charity, but of course we want to duo first. Just to gain as much information as possible. You see he's flashing me a bunch of cards from the Fusion deck. We've got all of the essentials in there. Empress Judge, Skull Knight, Guiltia. So we rip a Giant Germ and a Raigeki Break, which is pretty nice. We just throw down this Graceful Charity. We draw some really good cards. It's actually really hard to decide what we're going to do here. I believe the first card that I pitch is Jar of Greed, because it's just kind of a random card. Certainly the least powerful card in this hand. I believe you can probably make a case for Snatch Steal or Premature Burial. Snatch isn't amazing against the control deck. However, you know, backed up by double Solemn Judgment, Snatch Steal could just steal almost like literally anything out of the deck, and just help this Kaiku push through for lethal. I don't really want to ditch the Kaiku because I want to get aggressive here. We've already got our opponent down a card because of the Delinquent Duo, and we've got double Solemn Judgment back up. We have Ring to deal a whole bunch of damage if we need to. So ditching the Kaiku, just not the play here. We want to get on the board. We want to get aggressive. We want to get this game over with at this point. So, yeah, ditch the Jar of Greed, sit and think for a while. I actually ditched the Premature Burial. I think that's totally fine. I have, you know, Solemn Judgment if I really need to deal with, like, an Ectoplasma or something, but I probably honestly just let it go. And lose the Kaiku and try to win the game through Snatch Steal. I also have, you know, 13 other monsters in the deck. We'll be fine to play a little bit longer here if we need to. But just going to summon the Kaiku, set 3 and pass. You can make the argument for setting the Snatch Steal as well to play around the opponent's Delinquent Duo. But we're up a card. And like I've mentioned, Snatch Steal is not the greatest against the control decks as it is. So if the opponent wants to 1-for-1 and lose more life, I'm totally fine with that in this scenario. So we'll just keep the Snatch Steal in hand, maybe keep it out of like a Breaker or a Blind MST range here. So we draw the last part of Trinity, the good old Pot of Greed. We draw MST Dust Tornado, which isn't amazing, because we don't want to just throw them off blindly here. Just going to attack with the Kaiku. It's a Giant Germ, so we're going to take 500. The opponent gets a Giant Germ out. That's perfectly fine. We just set the spell on Trap Removal, and we'll use it on a later date, hopefully, if our opponent like sets other back row. But opponent's just going to turn Giant Germ to defense, set a monster. Sets in this deck, like, we know it's not another Giant Germ. Could be Night Assailant, could be Dark Mimic. Cards that aren't really too worrisome here. If we lose the Kaiku, it's not really that big of a deal. 1-for-1ing again here is fairly good for us. So we draw Sasuke, which is awesome. I can just take care of the Giant Germ. It's another beater on the board. And again, our goal here is to just be aggressive. So not too happy about the Sasuke here. Just getting rid of the Giant Germ, but we're going to actually Book of Moon the Sasuke, which is perfectly fine with me. That's another plus for us, unless the opponent has something that can attack over Sasuke, but we have Ring of Destruction to take care of anything that could do that. So it's likely going to stay a plus for us. So you love to see that. I'm going to attack with the Kaiku. It's Night Assailant. Hits the Kaiku. At this point, I'm looking, you know, the opponent has 3 Fiends in the graveyard. How are we going to deal with Dark Necrofear? And honestly, I'm already thinking, like, let's just let it go. We have Snatch Steal. If the opponent summons a Dark Necrofear, we have Snatch Steal, but it's already on my mind because I sort of want a game plan for what's coming. I realize I still have This Is Fine on here from the Reasoning Gate video. Ignore that. But yeah, so we've got Dark Necrofear on the mind here. We know we have, you know, all of the tools that we need to take it out. And we can take it out without expending one of our Solemn Judgments, which I think is great. So opponent just passes the turn, doesn't do anything. I draw a Nobleman of Crossout, which could be good later if the opponent, you know, draws another Night Assailant, Dark Mimic or something. They want to, you know, try to gain some more card advantage or whatever, but we're just going to attack in with Sasuke, get that Giant Germ off the board. We're up a ton of cards now. Opponent activates Raigeki Break, discards a Night Assailant that they drew. So, going to get some value out of that. Raigeki Break's fine. Rolls a die, picks a Solemn Judgment. Cool. Obviously, I would have rather had this MST or Dust Tornado get hit here, but it's fine. And just get back Night Assailant. We have an answer to that in the Nobleman of Crossout, so I'm not too worried. Dark Necrofear comes out. So we've planned for this. I give the little thinky face for a little bit, thinking about Solemn Judgmenting, and just decide to let it go. I think this is a good decision. We're going to lose our Sasuke, but we can Snatch Steal this Dark Necrofear, and we can deal with the Night Assailant, and if our opponent ever has, like, back row, it's gone. So we can, I mean, and then we can use the Solemn Judgment to protect from, I mean, literally anything the opponent wants to throw at us at any point. So I think this is a perfectly fine play. Just let it go, lose the Sasuke. We're still up a billion cards. We get to take the Dark Necrofear, and we are in total control of this game. So draw, trap, dust shoot. That's probably the first bad draw this game, honestly. We've drawn very, very well. But just going to throw off the knock, hit the Knight Assailant. I don't have any more, or I don't have any in the deck, of course, and he doesn't have any more. So now we take the Dark Necrofear, attack for 2,200, and we just leave our dead trap, dust shoot in hand. Opponent gains 1,000, sets 2. I just elect to go ahead and take him out. No reason to let anything set there. We do have Solemn Judgment. We have Ring of Destruction to deal some damage. So this game's probably going to be over soon. And now, on top of drawing Trinity, we have all 3 Solemn Judgments. So, pretty nice. This game is over. If we draw any monster, opponent's just screwed. And, I mean, we have double Solemn Judgment, Ring. We're in a good spot. I wonder what he drew here. Oh, Tribe? Yeah, Tribe's not going to do anything. We draw Kaiku, attack in for 4,000, put our opponent at 16, and we're just going to flip Ring of Destruction and end the game. So, pretty cool. We go to game 2. Opponent is now on the play. So, again, this is not the best matchup. Really, any control deck is probably the worst matchup for Warriors. But, you know, through tight play, it is winnable. And drawing King Tiger, it's winnable. And, you know, also drawing triple Solemn Judgment and Trinity in a game on the play. Certainly winnable, those games. But opponent just sets 1 and passes. I'm not going to MST here. Especially having this premature burial. If my opponent has a battle trap, then I can just Prima the King Tiger, and I can save the MST for later. Obviously, Prima plus Heavy Storm's not that big of a combo, but if it is something other than Scapegoat, we can just Prima, and then we can set Solemn Judgment, Trap Dust Shoot. Hopefully Trap Dust Shoot can help protect the King Tiger. We have MST to get any follow-up back row, stuff like that. So I think we don't want to blind MST here, because if it is a Scapegoat, then our opponent gets the Scapegoat underneath King Tiger, and that's really bad. Because then, like, it would be the saddest King Tiger Wanghu of all time. It would just be attacking into goats that it shouldn't have allowed on the board in the first place. So, actually don't set the Solemn Judgment. My idea is I don't want to play into Heavy Storm here, and I have my own. Oh, yeah, my idea is I have my own Heavy Storm, so we're just going to flip this Trap Dust Shoot, and maybe entice the opponent to set more by setting the MST, but then I set the MST also just, you know, my opponent doesn't have a ton of traps in their deck. If they want to set 1, then I can just MST that. I know my King Tiger's getting in, and we can just save the Heavy Storm for a little bit later. MST also takes care of a potential Snatch Steal play. So you can argue maybe I'm not supposed to set the MST. I think you can also make the argument maybe I'm just supposed to just set Solemn Judgment and go in here. But King Tiger shuts down almost their entire deck. And I can get... Well, I'm getting information off of this Trap Dust Shoot, which makes me want the Solemn Judgment more. I don't know. It's pretty close. Like, do you play to make your Heavy Storm live? Or do you play the Solemn Judgment and just, you know, save the Heavy Storm for later? This is more interesting than I thought, actually. I played in a way to keep the Heavy Storm live and save my Solemn Judgment for later. Because my opponent had, like, no play turn 1. And King Tiger is just so good here. And I feel like I can protect it with the Trap Dust Shoot. There's not really a whole lot in the deck that can run over it anyway. Knight Assailant's bad, but there are only 2 in the deck because it's semi-limited. And we have the Trap Dust Shoot here to sort of take out a Knight Assailant. So I'm not really sure. You could sort of go either way here with this game plan, I think. There is also, maybe this is a scapegoat. We see here it is a scapegoat. But maybe this is a scapegoat and the opponent has an answer for King Tiger. So then I can actually just flip MST when their answer tries to go through. I don't know. This is I think that's a really close decision. You can make an argument, I think, several different ways there, but I think it's probably fine what I did. Opponent draws. We activate Dust Shoot. So we see Torrential, Malice Doll of Demise, Swords, Call of the Haunted, Premature Burial, Metamorphosis. We don't care about any of this. We send back this Malice Doll of Demise, and our opponent has a Torrential that can't deal with the King Tiger. Swords that we have MST and Heavy Storm for. Call of the Haunted with no targets. Premature Burial with no targets. And Metamorphosis that can't do anything. Because they can't put scapegoats on the board. They couldn't even put a Thousand Eyes Restrict on the board if they could get the scapegoats on the board. And if they set like Dark Mimic level 1 or Sinister Serpent or something, they still can't get the Thousand Eyes Restrict on the board. So, love seeing this hand. Of course, we're going to send back the Malice Doll because it's the only thing we can send back. It's pretty nice to actually send that back because King Tiger can't attack over it. It actually has a decent sized butt. Opponent's going to set 2 and then make the comment, set heavy, huh? No set heavy, but it is in the hand. And knowing the opponent's hand, we have to get aggressive here. So they actually set the Torrential and the Scapegoat. Well, we didn't know about the Scapegoat, but that was already previously set. But they set the Torrential to go along with the Swords, and this is awesome. So we know the opponent's hand is Call of the Haunted, Metamorphosis, Premature Burial, complete bricks. We draw a Dust Tornado that can help play against Snatch Seal. And, of course, we have the Solemn Judgment that can hit, like, literally anything that's not one of these 3 cards. So, great situation here. Just attack with the King Tiger. I opt to set everything. That's probably fine. If our opponent draws Heavy Storm, we're going to Solemn Judgment. No, I guess that's probably incorrect. We can just leave the Premature Burial in hand. It's which one of do you want to play around? If our opponent draws Heavy Storm, we might Solemn it anyway, honestly, just to protect the Dust Tornado, because the Dust Tornado protects against potential like Snatch Steal, and can help protect the King Tiger in the future, though we don't have to protect it because we have the Premature Burial, but I guess we don't want to give our opponent the out ever, really, to take it off the board and be able to resolve a Scapegoat, something like that. So, yeah, I mean, there's a good chance that maybe we do actually Solemn Judgment a Heavy Storm if it's just to protect a Dust Tornado here because our opponent's hand is just terrible. I don't hate that. Also, it does deal with Call of the Haunted and Premature Burial. So, which one of do you want to play around? Again, I think this is a close decision, but maybe leave the Premature Burial in hand. Our opponent does draw Heavy Storm, so now, of course, since we set the Premature Burial, we do have to Judgment here. But again, still feel like I'm in a good position. Opponent sets 1, and I already know like it's one of the 3. It's either Premature Burial, Metamorphosis, or Call of the Haunted. Probably Call of the Haunted. So no need to Dust Tornado here. We'll save that for later. I draw another Dead Trap Dust Shoot, but it's fine. We're so far ahead. I will go ahead and set the Trap Dust Shoot. Now there's no reason to not set everything. Opponent draws set, so we know the back row again is useless because we didn't know about a monster previously. We draw Rhoda, which is nice here. My immediate reaction was, let's go get level 2. No, don't go get level 2. Level 2 doesn't do anything here. So I think about it. What could the sets be? It could be Giant Germ. It could be Night Assailant, Dark Mimic, Sangan, Sinister Serpent. Those are pretty much it. I guess it could be Malice Doll. DD Warrior Lady deals with pretty much all of those except for Night Assailant. Night Assailant would be a bit of a problem, but not really. So we could attack it with the DD Warrior Lady, get it gone. It would, of course, kill our King Tiger. but then we could just Prima the King Tiger back and be right back in the same position that we were. If it's Sinister Serpent, I could banish it with DD Warrior Lady. Same with Sangan. Same with Giant Germ. Just kind of, well, I guess we wouldn't banish the Giant Germ because we don't care if the Giant Germ gets other Giant Germs. Because they die. Because they do not come in face down like Nimble Momonga does. Which does actually dodge King Tiger. So I think DD Warrior Lady is a totally fine play here. You could probably also make... you can make an argument for Sasuke, Blade Knight, but I think DD Warrior Lady makes the most sense. It's also just, you know, the most sort of stable thing on the board. If the opponent does draw into, like, Dark Necrofear or something and some more Fiends, DD Warrior Lady can cleanly take that out as well. So, I'm fine with this decision. Obviously, I wish I could have put a level 2 on the board, but I'm not going to be able to. DD Warrior Lady going to attack in. It is a Dark Mimic level 1. That's fine. That can't get Call of the Haunted, however you want to say it. Can't get prematured because we do have, you know, the King Tiger, and if they did do those anyway, like, who cares? But that's fine. But the opponent does have 2 new cards to deal with, and we see here that they draw another Dark Mimic, or sorry, a Giant Germ. These numbers are inverted. But Giant Germ does not matter at all. And we draw another monster, so we should be able to win the game here. Summon Breaker. The game's over. What is this last back row? It's not going to show. Whatever. Oh, we know that that back row is one of the others that didn't matter in hand. So, oh, the opponent did draw Dark Necrofear. Okay, didn't know about that one. But, yeah, so we're going to take the finals 2-0. Did I lose a game? Feel like... I won. I lost no more than 1 game in Swiss. So, well, it was there's no Swiss. It was double elimination. I lost no more than 1 game in this tournament. This deck list feels really good. So probably going to be working with this going forward. Probably making, you know, small tweaks here and there. But wanted to put this out. Because people love to see the Ectoplasmer deck. It was the finals of a tournament. But yeah, wanted to advertise for the Atlanta GOAT community. So hopefully you all will join and play some more cool cash tournaments in the future. So that's going to be the video for today. Hope you all enjoyed. See you for the next one.